Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Happy New Year. Thank you so much for being here, and I really do appreciate your time. Welcome back to the channel. I have not been making a lot of videos, but I know I always say that, right? But I just wanted to sincerely say thank you so much for taking your time to listen to this video, to watch my video, to hear what I have to say. I know I'm not consistent. I am working on changing that. Yes, I am so glad to be here. I wanted to talk about this topic really quickly.
Next question. Okay, so this is a very important question because I be battling people with this question all the time.
Okay.
Do you believe in colorism, and do you feel like it's easier as a female rapper to like make it big when you're like of a lighter complexion?
Believe in colorism. Colorism is very real. It's a very real thing, for sure. And it definitely is easier for, not to take away from anybody who is a light-skinned rapper, but it's definitely easier for a woman with a lighter complexion to blow up quicker than a dark-skinned woman, for sure.
But like, why do you feel like that? Because like, I be getting into it with people, right? I used to get made fun of at school because I wasn't black enough. Bitches used to try to cut my hair. Like, people be thinking that like light-skinned girls don't go through colorism. We go through colorism just, I don't know if it's like as bad as like brown-skinned girls.
It's not colorism. It's not colorism. If you're light-skinned, it's not colorism.
So what is it called?
If people was picking with you, then that's like, but it's not colorism. Like, colorism is discrimination against darker skin. Like darker complected people.
So you're basically talking about reverse.
Well, reverse colorism then, because they used to be like, you ain't even black for real. You're white. Go over there with the white girls.
Because it is something that is rather important to me because I am a dark-skinned black woman. To be fair, some people may not view me as dark-skinned because depending on who I'm speaking to, some people may view me as dark-skinned, some people may view me as brown skin. However, I am a dark-skinned woman. That's how I identify. Many of my life experiences are based on me being treated like a dark-skinned woman, good and bad. And I just wanted to talk about this conversation regarding colorism and light-skinned women, strangely, for whatever reason, taking this opportunity to speak about experiencing bullying based off of their skin tone by both black people and non-black people regarding them being black enough. And I just wanted to talk about why I feel this conversation should have progressed past that at this point. There's so many people online who over the years have been speaking about colorism, who have been taking their time to do good strategic analytical work, breaking down colorism and really making it so that it should no longer be misunderstood. Basically, it should no longer be this concept with which we no longer understand or know how to have conversations about. And so the fact that in 2023 and the end of 2022, we're still having conversations where you have light-skinned women thinking that when dark-skinned black women are talking about their experiences with colorism, that's the time for you to then jump in and talk about what you have experienced because of your skin tone. I'm at a loss. I thought we had already gotten to the bottom of this at this point. If you are a light-skinned person watching this video and you're immediately on defense, or you immediately feel like, okay, well, my experiences are valid, my feelings are valid, you know, who are you to tell me that I can't feel how I feel? And I just wanted to say, it's not so much about taking away validation of your experiences, taking away the fact that you were most likely in situations where you had people making you feel less than based off of your skin tone. I do challenge you to understand that it is not connected to colorism, and maybe it was a side effect of colorism, such that if you are talking about those dark-skinned girls who said things to you like, you're not black enough, called you white girl, it was most likely because those same little black girls, dark-skinned ones that had kinky hair, or whose phenotype warranted them to be mistreated, they were speaking from a place of constantly being marginalized, constantly being told they were ugly, constantly being told that their skin tone reminded people of dirt and tar and burnt this and burnt that and all of these other terrible things that people say to dark-skinned people, male or female, all of the time. So if anything, you must understand that the treatment that you received is not colorism. It can't be colorism because at this point we should all understand that the definition of colorism constitutes that those who are closest and phenotypically closest, not just skin tone, but phenotypically closest to whiteness, that share a proximity to whiteness, are going to be seen as more intelligent, more valuable, better overall. And those individuals who are on the darker side, who are closer to stereotypical negative connotations about blackness and dark skin tones and people with melanin, are those who are going to be subjected to different forms of discrimination, because the closer you are to an ethnic person, the less value you have. And that's an idea shared around the Western world. And I know people will say things like, okay, well, then why are most of the trends set by people of color? Why are most of music and entertainment dominated by people of color? And that is because one of the strangest things that you will find about the whole concept and the human behavior of racism is, although I may value different aspects of what you look like or what you produce that I deem as valuable or that I have seen as valuable to other people, so based off of capitalism I can make money off of it, that does not mean that I value you as a person. That does not mean that I see you as the same as me. It does not mean that we hold the same value in society. So that is why you can have industries that are relying on the aesthetics of people of color and dark-skinned people, that are relying on the talent and the physical abilities of dark-skinned people and people of color, while still having these very toxic ideas about aspects of beauty and how it presents on those people of color. So that's why you can have dark-skinned women being told they're ugly, but then their features, are dissected, and then it turns into, well, if a white woman is tanned, she's more beautiful. If a white woman has fuller lips, she's more beautiful. If a white woman has a nice texture, a nice curl, she's more beautiful. If a white woman is more curvy, she's a more desirable version of a white woman if she has all of these things. But if a dark-skinned person has all of these things, that doesn't do anything to aid their beauty. It just exists. It's typical. We expect you to have those things. So those are sort of the kind of layered, more complex issues at work, and why it is so embarrassing for light-skinned people to compare themselves to colorism. And we know that colorism is not only a major issue within the black community, like the smaller black community, but it's a global issue. And when you start talking about other parts of the world where colonization was just as strong and still have some of those lasting post-colonial effects that are still at work, that's why you have so many lotions and skincare products that you can buy that have skin bleaching agents. Because over there, it's not just about beauty, it's about survival. You will most likely have a better life if you can lighten your skin. Just because you have one privilege in one area doesn't mean that you're less affected by the discriminations that black people face. It's always concerning to me when I see the topic of colorism coming up, and you have light-skinned people starting to come out saying reverse colorism. And yet you never see these same light-skinned people chiming in when there's a discussion of colorism to begin with and validating what dark-skinned women are saying they experience. And so it's just so strange to me how whenever dark-skinned women are sharing their experiences, the things that have happened to them, you'll have people actually telling them Colorism is not real. It's not a real thing. Oh, you're making that up. No one said that to you. No, it wasn't about your skin tone. You're just ugly. There are people still to this day telling dark-skinned women colorism is not a thing. It's not real. You're making it up. It's not like racism. It's not real. It's not. You're just saying that. You're just coming up with excuses why people don't like you, why you're unattractive, whatever, what have you. But then at the same time, light-skinned people will say, okay, colorism is real, but it's only real when I want to talk about what I label as reverse colorism. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. You can't tell dark-skinned women that what you're experiencing is because you're ugly. But when I want to talk about what I experience, yes, colorism is real, and I'm going to talk about the reverse of it. It's very irresponsible for people to act as if colorism doesn't even exist on one hand, and then say it does exist, but let's talk about the other side of it. So there's never this true acknowledgement of how dark-skinned women and dark-skinned people globally are treated, because we're still hanging on to racist post-colonial ideas that dictate which human has more value than the other. It's actually insane. What I say to light-skinned women who want to talk about how they have been made fun of, in black spaces, if you want to talk about being bullied, being called white girl, and all these and people saying you're not black enough, talk about that. Create your own spaces, create your own, online dialogue about that, and don't use moments where dark-skinned women are talking about their experiences to piggyback off of that and then flip it over to you. You can't be discriminated based off of being light-skinned when it's that light skin that gives you privilege in our society. It doesn't work like that. One of the things I always think about, and when I'm having these type of conversations about colorism that I will bring up, is the fact that because I had a light brown to light skinned mother, I didn't grow up with a colorism complex. And what I mean by that is for most of my childhood, probably until I became, 13, 14, probably when I was in like ninth, I'll say when I started 8th grade specifically, was when I started hearing comments about my skin tone that were disparaging, that were negative, because for most of my childhood, I did not hear these type of comments at home. And my mom, my dad, even my grandmom, I never felt it was anything wrong with my skin tone until I got around other people and they told me that there was something wrong with my skin tone. They basically implied that the amount of confidence that I had was strange, and who do I think I am? And when I started modeling, it became, well, your beauty is something that I can't attribute to your blackness. So you must be mixed with something else. You must have something else going on in there that causes you to have beauty that I find attractive and that I'm struggling to process. So I'm going to make it your issue. And I think that's, very interesting, because like I said, maybe because my mom wasn't dark skinned, she didn't pass her complex on to me. I didn't know it was anything wrong with being dark skinned until, like I said, I got older and I was in high school. That's when I really started to realize there was something wrong with my skin tone, because I had no idea that my skin tone was less than, or I had no concept of it. So we don't have to be in the struggle Olympics. We don't have to prove that I have struggled more than you, and that's why, I should be able to. All of that is weird, and I hope we get to a place as a society where we stop trying to out-woke each other, and we stop trying to I'm more oppressed than you. All of that is weird, and it's not really conducive to progress. Nothing really gets moved forward. There's no understanding that's actually extracted, because everyone is just trying to prove I'm more oppressed than you, and we have to stop doing that, okay? and the fact that there was a famous chef who spent much of his time on Twitter, which at that time, it was like common to like go on Twitter and have like a disgusting, racist, rude, misogynist take on something and see who could get the most tweets. That was like a very much a culture. But he really, he was doing this in his late 20s.
Y'all got y'all teacups?
Yeah.
Let's sip.
Okay.
I came across this story and I found it very interesting.
Me too.
Have y'all seen this video and this creator?
What's up, guys? I blew the rent money on oxtails, so let's make a pasta with caramelized shallots and chanterelle mushrooms. So after you sell your kidney to get the oxtails, you want to season them with salt and pepper. We're going to sear them in a preheated carbon stove pan and then cook them in beef stock or with some shallots until they fall off the bone.
I don't know if y'all been on Twitter today, but I was on Twitter today. And y'all know that viral video of that oxtail pasta?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the creator of that pasta has a very interesting past. With that being said, most of these tweets are old, but he's also a full-grown
It don't
man
matter if
when
he
he
old.
made these tweets, right?
All right.
So let's look at them.
It don't matter if he was a
A
teenager.
doozy. I will not be reading these, by the way. Y'all can just pause and read. Interesting. Too black. This one's absolutely insane. Absolutely nuts. Pause and read that caption for me. Right. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yep. And of course, here comes, the half apology.
There's
the
always
fake
an
accountability,
apology.
right? Now, this is what sent me. This is the original young lady whose tweet I saw to even bring me to the thread.
Next time,
After this
watch your
apology.
mouth or I'll be on your neck
we have to be
forever.
very careful who we give a platform, especially, on these different apps. You can try to rebrand all you want to, but the internet is forever. And you were grown when you made these statements, sir. So this whole, I'm accountable now, we're not feeling it. Also, let's know, if you've been on Twitter a long time, you remember when the first couple of incidents with this character.
Listen. Like I said, I don't even care if he was a teenager, but yeah, he was big and he's a lawyer. He was big and grown when he made them shits. He big and grown now.
Saying horrible, disgusting things about dark-skinned women, and he really thought he could just tuck that behind him. He really thought that he could just not, that he could just make some oxtails and everything would be fine. No, that's not at all. Listen. Well, that's all I have to say on the matter. Those are my thoughts. Thank you so much for listening, and I really do appreciate your time. Take care. Bye.